Right, I've armed myself with a few of these little tools. I've just been using this to clean all the rubbish out of the edge of the rubber and out of the groove there, and also it helps get into moving all this dirt that's in all these crevices. I've got a soft brush for around the plastics and an heavier brush for the carpet. We have to be careful, you know, cleaning these carpets, that we don't get too heavy-handed because they will bobble, so we take care not to overdo it, but get all the rubbish out we can. So I've got a light because I've had to bring it inside and it's a bit on the dull side, so I've got a light to aid me. I've just done the rubber that was going a bit manky across the back of the window and down inside the drip rails. Cleaned all that out, and then I'm going to do the carpeting here, all the surfaces, and then we'll move into the interior of the car to start cleaning the debris out the leather before we start cleaning it. But let's get this job out the way and we can move on. Right, I'm starting polishing this morning and basically trying to tidy some of this really bad finishing on the spoiler. As you can see, there's a lot of solvent pop. I don't know why, because it looks like factory, but it's awful. And also I've had to flat some of the bird etching out of the roof panel. I'm just gonna I've got the 2 wall mops on the go, try and cut all this down. I mean, this I've already had a go at and you can still see solvent pop, so I'm going to keep going over it, knock it down. I don't want to wet flat it particularly, but you can see there's still pretty bad solvent pop in the areas that I've already had a go at. So and this I haven't had a go at. You can see how bad it is. You know, these are £100,000 cars, and you'd think there'd be a little bit more care and attention paid to something that's so expensive, but it don't seem to be the case. But it keeps us in work, I suppose. But the lacquer pop continues onto the roof, so it's got to be factory. So I'm just going to get on, keep knocking it down with the wall mop until it's satisfactory, and then start working it back up. So I'll see you a little bit later. Well, I've been working my way from the back down the glass, polished all the glass and this half of the windscreen. Make sure there's no etching, contamination or any snotty bits in it. So I'm going to wipe this side down now with panel wipe and start on the other side. Get all this top end finished before I put it in the air. But this is it isn't coming up too bad, to be fair. It's a lot better than it was, and I mean a lot better. The glass was quite contaminated with bird etching, as was the black part over here. I flatted that out. I don't know what I'm going to encounter the other side yet, but it'll be dealt with. So these are all going to have coatings on, so they need to be squeaky clean. So as you can see, I haven't wiped it down, but I'll get it wiped down and then start the other side. I'm in the cutting stages of the bonnet, so literally just doing the first cut, and I thought I'd see whether it would show up on camera the difference. I haven't done this bit yet. I haven't been able to get all the solvent pop out, but certainly a lot crisper. Now I'm just about to start the cutting on this section of the bonnet, but it's having 3 stages of polish anyway, but you can probably see, you know, it looks grayer there than there, so it's certainly going to look blacker. Got some nasty scratches to get out on here as well. There's a scratch that runs, I think I pointed it out in an earlier video, but it runs all the way down the bonnet, and quite a few other little deep nicks of something. So I've had my work cut out with this bonnet, but I'm sure when it's finished it'll look lovely. There's a nice big scratch there as well, and some etching, and some scratches down there, but we'll get there. We always do. And this, after another 2 stages, this is going to look lovely. But you can literally see the difference in colour. You know, it's like chalk and cheese. Right, I'm going to crack on, and I'll see you a bit later. Well, Steve, I've found some curbing on the front wheel as well, so you might want to get that one redone while we're at it with the other one. I'll get the wheels off, probably going to be next week before you can collect them. Give you a chance to get back from London. See you later. Good morning, it's Ted from The Devil's in the Detail. I thought I'd have a quick discussion, as usual, why I'm doing what I'm doing and what with, and why we have to look at every car we do individually. We just can't take things for granted. This car's purchased second hand, and basically it's had some pre-sale work. The rear bumper's been painted, and the finish is totally different, and there's some flatting marks indicating that, you know, it's been in a body shop. And during that period, or pre-sale preparation, somebody's mocked the car. Well, I presume by the marks that are left in it, the swirls from a moped, holograms and scratches, it's a body shop polish. Now, the problem is that I would expect about 130 microns of paint at least across the car. On this bonnet, which has got solvent pop and it hasn't been painted, must be there from the factory, or it's been contaminated with something that makes it look like solvent pop, but I think it's solvent pop. The highest reading I've had is 120 microns, and it goes all the way down to 112, 113, depending on where you check it. So initially, I'd normally get a rotary out with a wool mop and rip it down or mow it down to get the scratches and the pop out, and then refine it back. Well, I didn't really want to hit it with a rotary. I mean, that, don't get me wrong, it does the job, it does it really well, but I don't want to take that much off that I end up leaving hardly any lacquer or breakthrough. So basically on this job I'm using orbital polisher with a Rupes wall cutting pad, and Menzerna 400 to do the cutting. Now, although, you know, it takes longer, it is doing the job. It's getting the marks out, and it isn't as vicious as using a rotary, so I can keep control of what I'm taking off, can keep measuring it, and make sure I'm not compromising the clear coat. So I thought I'd just say, every car you get, you need to look at in an individual way. Don't take for granted that, oh, it looks like a new car and you know it's going to be standard, because you never know what's happened before. So you do really need to take notice of what's been going on with the car previous to you getting it in. Now obviously I want to create a really good finish, like usual, which means I want to take as many defects and orange peel down a little bit. But this actually looks frosty, and as I'm polishing it and getting out the marks, it is coming up nice. The orange peel, I'm not going to try and even take, you know, all of that out of it, but I do want it to look nice. So it's a bit of care and attention. The flatter panels seem to have suffered with the solvent looking issue, more than the sides of the car. So once the bonnet's done, I've already done the roof and the spoiler on the back. That was really bad. But it's coming up nice. So just an explanation of, you know, my thinking as I work around the car, what I'm going to use. You know, you've seen before, I'm not frightened of getting a rotary polisher out, but in some cases it's just safer not to. You know, the orbitals do the job, and you know, I find them, you can control it more. The scratches, I've got a 3-inch polisher with a warm mop on, and as I'm mowing it down, I'm trying to treat the scratches individually, and keep measuring, make sure there's no compromise, and you know, cut the scratches out to a patch about a foot. You know, not just try and cut on the scratch, but level it out. And it is coming on, it's coming nice, and I just thought I'd give an explanation to those people who have just sort of started watching the work, that you know what goes into it. We don't just throw a polisher on and chuck it around. You know, it's all done with a bit of thought, and you know, that's why detailing is different to valeting and body shop mopping. So anyway, I'm gonna get on now and carry on with this bonnet. It's already, I would say it's 3/4 of a day so far, just cutting 3/4 of the bonnet. So I want to get on with it today and get the first cut finished and start the second stage of polishing. So I'll see you later. Hi, it's Saturday morning and I'm in the yard. This is going to sound mad, but I've spent 2 days on this bonnet. A couple of times I thought, you know, I've got it as good as I could get it, and then I've ended up revisiting it anyway. Basically, I've spent over a day cutting as many of the imperfections and scratches and everything out of the bonnet that I can get. And then I started refining it with a second stage cut, and then noticed even more scratches that had been missed. So I've recut it, and basically I've just gone over it and attended to everything that I can get out. There are some that I haven't been able to get out, but they are minute. It's just the tail end or the deeper end of the scratch in awkward places, or they're too deep and I haven't got the lacquer to work with. But today I've spent the morning refining the panel, and to be honest, I've probably gone a bit over the top, but that's me, I suppose, and that's part of the reason that my clients come. But I was just going to put the light on it and the light's gone flat, so I'll just have to get another one. Just bear with me. Some of you might have noticed I've been having some modifications done in the shop. It's not quite finished yet, but it's looking pretty good. And that's down to my good friend Gary, who's he come to help with the netting and the putting the lights on the top, and he's never gone home. He's just stayed. Right. This is now a million times beyond how the bonnet arrived. As you know, there's some really deep scratches in this area around here that went all the way down the bonnet. Now all that's left, if I can get it to show up, like I say, you could just see on the edge of that light there's a nick right on the curve of the bonnet, and I just don't want to go through. So I mean, it is, if I take the light away, you know, it's minute. And also, just see if I can capture this, just there's a deep nick there, but when I take the light away it's invisible. But it is there. Other than that, I think I've got everything out. Solvent pop, I've got about 99% of it out. So we no longer have that frosty look to the paint, and it now looks black. And as you can see by the light, it's super clear, which is what I wanted. You know, this is the biggest panel on the car. It was probably the worst affected by imperfections. It's been hard work getting them all out, or as many out as I can, but I think it was worth it. You know, this is the finish that I like to get, and I don't mind putting the work in to get it. So anyway, that's the bonnet done. Now, as we all know, it's the Queen's funeral on Monday, and I've always been a royalist and loved the Queen. So I will be having the day off to watch the funeral and get back to this on Tuesday. And you know, it's a great loss to the country. She done a great job, and I hope when I pop me clogs that people will say that I did a great job, and that's all you can ask for. So anyway, that's it for this week. I'll start again Tuesday and decide where I want to start. You know, whether I start on the front end or get the sides done first. I just hate leaving the bumpers till last because they're hard work, all the little intricacies that we have to do, and so I like to get them out the way early. But I'm very pleased with the outcome of this. If I get the rest of the car like this, I'm going to be really happy, and I'm going to endeavour to do that. So keep watching and see the results. Right, well, have a great weekend, and I'll see you all again next week.